Hey, it's good. I'm doing a Horse Eldrazi rough deck list for you guys. So, this is the commander for the deck. So, yeah. So, I'm going to split this up into several different pieces throughout this video. Just make things a little easier. So first part is the horses that I'm playing. So, playing Crusted Summer, which is basically my mom's horse on for the art. Shadowfax, Bronco, Move Pony, Sunquan, Phantom Steed, this, which is really quite hilarious, and then Thundering Nightmare. So, I'm sure you're probably wondering, like, why do you run those? Well, I'm going to explain that. So, basically when Phantom Steed enters battlefield, it has to exile a creature. And so you can exile a Tempest Caller, which, whenever Phantom Steed attacks, then you create a copy of the exiled creature. So whenever this enters the battlefield, tap all creatures target opponent controls. So you tap all of a opponent's creatures, and then you can get in for massive damage. That's kind of the whole goal with that combo. There's another like unicorn type of card. I think it's like Valorious Steed or something like that. And it kind of has the same thing where it has an ETB trigger, and then you make 1/1 human soldiers. So, kind of that same idea. So, now I'm sure you guys are probably wondering, like, why is he in here? He's not really all that crazy. Well, you guys might think differently once I show you guys these. So these are all the Eldrazi's, or well, most of them that are like high cost. And if you sell the Toxic Bronco, and if you hit one of these, which, you know, with how many that there is in the deck, that's not really an Eldrazi, but it's just a good card. You have a pretty high likely chance of hitting one of them, which does a lot of damage to the opponents. And you could do anywhere from like 7 to or 6 to 12 damage to an opponent, especially if you have other things combined with it to make it even more deadly, like Rubbing Throne or something like that, where it triggers again. So yeah. So next, I want to explain why this is in here. So whenever it enters, you may search for your library for a legendary creature, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So you can basically search out your legendary Eldrazi's with Thalia. Now, Morphine isn't really an Eldrazi, but due to the changing, it kind of counts. So you essentially have 6 targets that are actually Eldrazi's. So, and also these also count towards the Toxic Bronco hit as well. If you hit one of these, then so it gets added to your hand. So, which again is like, it's just devastating if you hit a 13 and then like a 11 cost. Like, that's 24 damage off that triggered twice if you have this on field. So yeah. So that's kind of why the Thalia is in here. So I'll show you guys the Eldrazi effects too. So this has experience counters, Morphon just cuts down the white, blue, black, red, green in the mana cost. So this is a new one that I got Friday. This card's insane. And then yeah, I'll show you guys the other ones I had skipped by as well. Show you guys what they do in case you don't know. So there's a funny thing with this I'll explain here in a few minutes. I'll set that aside for that explanation. So there's Endbringer. Most of them are just kind of self-explanatory, like Another 2 and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so there's essentially all of that. Next, we'll get to the story part, which isn't very long, but I'll explain to you guys what happened. So, I pretty much had this out in the field. This one. So, and it says when a land enters battlefield under an opponent's control, then that player exiles the top 2 cards of their library, and then you draw 2 cards. So, in the pod that I was in, someone had copied this for a creature. So they also have one too. And then I had drawn into this, which lets me copy a creature my opponent controls, and then I get to choose the power toughness for it. So I essentially had 2 of this on field, and my opponent had 1. So the other 2 opponents were exiling 6 cards from the top of their deck for each land that they played, and then I would draw 4, and then my opponent would draw 2. So yeah, it was literally disgusting what I did with that during that whole situation. So, and then there's this combo too, which I never got to do. But basically, how this works is like if you have both these on the field, it's basically a lot of damage that you're racking up. So basically, when another creature or colorless creature enters the battlefield under your control, deal 1 damage to each opponent. So if you're making scions or spawns, they're basically colorless. So you're basically dishing out 1 damage for each one that you make. And then this also says, when it enters the battlefield, create a 0/1 colorless spawn creature token, and it also has Myriad, meaning that it also attacks 2 other people. So, yeah. I think there's one other card that goes with this combo that says whenever a creature dies, then the opponent takes 1 damage. But yeah, it's really quite good. So, quite a scary combo. So, next up, I'll show you is the land making, or the tap for more mana, basically. So, this, and then this. And then you also get life off of this, too, which also helps with the Crested Summer. Because there's also this that also gains you life, so. But it's not, like, mandatory to gain life, but if you have the Summer out, then it does help, so. And then here's all the cards to help make mana. There we go. So, Arcane Signet, Thought Vessel, Basalt Monolith, yeah. Mana Vault, yeah. Mana Crypts. And then this also helps make colors mana. So, and then more colors mana making. So, yeah, you have quite a bit of ways to make colors mana in here, which can benefit really crazy with this. So, yeah. So there's more. Tap to create 2. There's 3, and then Soul Ring. So that's a lot of ways to create colors in here, which with that colors artifact, it can go really, really hard. So, and then a couple of board wipes that's in here. So all is dust, and then this one. Both very, very quite good. And then next is stuff to give your creatures +1+, or like a buff anyway. So creatures you control have haste, and then legendaries get +1/+0. So, and then Eldrazi Monument, Shared Animosity, which can be really disgusting, because most of, or 75% of the deck is Eldrazi. So your Eldrazi's are just going to get massive. So yeah. Caster's Crusade. This gives a +1/+1 counter on target colorless creature that enters the battlefield this turn. Just makes a enchanted creature 10/10 with trample and Annihilator 2. And then when you cast this spell, and where it attacks, play a +1/+1 counter on each colorless creature you control. So, yeah. Definitely very, very quite good. So, and then for the last piece, before I get into the rest of the stuff, is the Rolling Throne, and then Eldrazi Displacer. So, I figured out a thing with this, where you tap 2 into colorless, exile another target creature, then return to the battlefield under its owner's control. So if you exile Rolling Throne, and then re-enter it, and choose a different creature type, then you can either go between Eldrazi or horses, depending on what you have on the field. So it's really kind of versatile, depending on what all you have on field, and depending on what you need. Because if you have the Bronco and Rolling Throne in this, then you can name horse. And if you make, or if you bring a couple Eldrazi's later on, you can exile it, return it to a battlefield, and then name Eldrazi with it, and voila, you have Eldrazi to help trigger twice. So just kind of something a little neat to do. And then their card to give another Death Touch, whatever the case may be. So yeah. And then untap all artifacts. So this helps with all the mana rocks and all that I have in here. So Ugin, which reduces the cost of color spells by 2. That's probably the only reason why this is in here, is to help reduce the cost, which does actually help. So Garruk's Uprising. So this be probably taken out and swapped into another deck that I have that's in this blue deck box. So I'll swap it between these 2 decks, but yeah. So this searches for a color spell, which is, or a colors card, so it's really, really quite good. And then this Eldrazi. So basically, if it deals damage to a player, that player exiles cards from their library until they hit a non-land, and then you can cast it by paying life instead of the mana cost. So it's really quite good. And then a protection card for colorless creatures from colored spells. So, and then essentially all the land and stuff. It's essentially kind of from the pre-con except for one card. This is the only card that I added to the lands, which is really quite good. So, but the rest of it is pretty much all pre-con lands. So, which has actually been working out pretty well for, and there's 37 lands, I think, is what the deck had. So, but yeah, that's basically it for the deck. So thank you for watching, and yeah, I'll catch you all in the next video. There goes.